Welcome to Van Isle Beauty. Today we're going to go over the pre-made fans and how to use them. In today's model we used 4D and 6D because the client really wanted a nice natural look. We'll start by going over our pre-made fans that we sell. So here are our 4D fans. So there's 4 lashes in each fan. These can be used on anybody, even the lightest lash you could still use these on. Next is our 6D fans. They can be used on most clients as well. They have a nice thin base and they lay so nicely on the natural lash. These are our longer lengths, the 16 to 18. Here are our 10D fans. Now we're getting into a little thicker fan, which you'll have to use your judgment if your client's natural lash will be able to hold it, but they're nicely symmetrical. And our last is our 12D, which are great for those wanting a voluminous, dramatic kind of look. Clients must have a thicker natural lash to get the best retention and to hold on to these fans. So we'll start by just choosing which lengths we want to do. So I like to start by grabbing the smallest length that you want to use. Here I grabbed an 8, and you can just kind of line it up towards the natural lash and see if that's the right size that you're wanting. She is wanting just a natural look, so we're not going to go much longer with her natural lashes. So in the inner corners we'll probably do an 8. Just grabbed a 10 and placing it up against the middle length where she's wanting the most length. This is where the arch of the brow is. So we're going to go with a 10, possibly an 11, kind of see once I lay them out which we want to do. Again, she has a lot of lashes and is just wanting a nice natural look. So here I can grab an 11 and see how I like that to match up. So I'll probably put a little bit of 11s right in the arch of the brow. This is where I'm wanting the longest lengths to be, so that's probably what I will map out, and we'll go a lot shorter at the ends for sure. Okay, so I like to start mapping by the longest lengths where I want them to be, so I'm going to go where the arch of her brow will be, and I'm going to put some 10s in there and some 11s, and then you can kind of work your way down into different sections. So here I'll put a 9. Her lashes are still probably long there, so I'll do a 9 and the 8s in the inner corners, and on the outer corners we'll do a 9 and down to 8s. So just make sure you have the same on the other side. So here are our tweezers that we're going to be using. I like to use the Bali tweezer. These pick up the fans nicely and are nice and thin at the base to attach the fans to the natural lash. And for isolating, I like the Maui Slims, and they isolate the natural lash really well. Okay, so we're going to start in one section on one side of the eye. She has so many lashes that you need to try to isolate one little natural lash. Once you have that isolated, I will grab a 9, dip it in slightly to my adhesive, and when we're placing it, we want to place it 0.5 millimeters away from that base of the natural lash. This is where you'll have the strongest bond, and you just kind of place it right on top or on the bottom of the natural lash. So again, I'll show you a little more up close. Have that isolated natural lash, dip the fan into the adhesive and place 0.5 millimeters away. You want to kind of push down a little bit, and then I lift up that natural lash that's laying right in the middle of the fan. That's going to get the best retention. We can have a look again. Grab your natural lash between your tweezers, dip your size you want in. Here is a 9, and place it right in the middle. That natural lash is laying right in the middle of the fan. If it goes off to the side, it will tip a little bit. So again, we're wanting to go from one eye on each section to the other. So if you place an 8 in the inner corner on one side, you're going to move to the next side and make it so it's super symmetrical. You don't want to have too many on one side and not enough on the other. So if you go back and forth in each section and doing the same lash on each side will make them very symmetrical. Okay, so you want to be able to see right down to the root of the lash so you can get really good placement when placing those fans. You can also place underneath. If they have a bit of a curlier lash, you can place it underneath. You can move back to your outer section. And when we're dipping the natural or the fan, we're going to take it off this strip and see where it's attached. It's heat bonded. So you want to dip about that much adhesive or into the adhesive, about that same width as that base attachment. You want to dip it in on the sides so you get really good coverage, and then place directly onto that natural lash. And again, don't forget to lift up that natural lash to make sure it has a really good secure connection. It does take a little longer to dry because you're using a little more adhesive on a natural than a natural fan when you're making handmade ones. So you want to let this dry a little bit more before you move on to your next section onto the other eye. Here's a great up close version of placing the fan. Again, as you see, I'm coming straight in the middle of that natural lash, placing it 0.5 millimeters to the bottom, and lift up on that natural lash. So here are the end results. As you can see, it's a nice full look that we used the 4D and 6D fans to create this. She wanted a fuller look, but still natural. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to like and follow for more beauty tips.